What was the first time you realized your parents didn't really know you? I was 16 when my dad moved out. Mom said it was because they'd grown apart, but I knew it was because of his girlfriend. He rented an apartment 20 minutes away and promised we'd still see each other regularly. That first month, I visited every weekend. By month 3, I was lucky to get a text back. For years, I'd been the one maintaining our relationship. I joined softball because he played in college. I watched action movies I hated because he loved them. I memorized football stats so we'd have something to talk about. None of it worked. He remained distant, checking his phone while I talked about school, canceling plans last minute for work emergencies that seemed to happen only on my weekends. When his 45th birthday approached last spring, I decided to make one final effort. My therapist had suggested I stop chasing his approval, but I couldn't let go without trying everything. I spent 3 months making him a scrapbook filled with memories from my childhood. I dug through old boxes in the attic, finding ticket stubs from the 2 baseball games we attended, photos from camping trips, and the Father's Day cards I'd made in elementary school. I found a picture from when I was 7 where we were building a birdhouse together. He looked happy in that photo, engaged, present. I added a recent picture of me at my school science fair where I'd won first place. He hadn't attended, claiming he had meetings, but I thought maybe seeing what he'd missed would make him realize how much I'd grown up. Each page took hours. I wrote captions detailing the memories, added decorative borders, and used special acid-free paper so it would last. My mom saw me working on it one night and warned me not to get my hopes up. I ignored her. This time would be different. The day of his birthday party arrived. He'd rented out a room at his favorite steakhouse and invited about 20 people, mostly his work colleagues and his girlfriend Malia, who was only 12 years older than me. I wore a new dress and did my makeup carefully. The scrapbook was wrapped in blue paper with a silver bow. When I arrived, Dad gave me a quick side hug and immediately turned back to his conversation. I stood awkwardly for 10 minutes before finding an empty chair at the end of the table. No one spoke to me. I watched Dad laughing with his friends, refilling their wine glasses, completely in his element. After dinner, people started giving him gifts. Work friends gave him expensive whiskey and golf accessories. Malia gave him tickets to a concert. When there was a lull, I approached with my package. I wished him happy birthday and told him I'd made the gift myself. He unwrapped it quickly, flipped through 3 pages without reading anything, and set it aside. He thanked me briefly, already looking past me to see who was approaching next. I returned to my seat, watching as the scrapbook got buried under wrapping paper and gift bags. Later, as people mingled after dinner, I overheard Dad talking to his colleague Matt. They were discussing weekend plans when Matt gestured toward me and asked if I was his daughter. Dad glanced over. "Oh, that's just the kid that lives here." Matt laughed, assuming it was a joke. Dad didn't correct him. I maintained my smile for the rest of the night. I took photos when asked. I declined dessert politely. I thanked the waitstaff. But inside, something had shifted permanently. This wasn't a momentary lapse or a careless mistake. This was who he was, who he'd always been. When I got home, I locked myself in my bedroom and cried until my throat hurt. Not because he'd forgotten my name, but because I'd spent 16 years trying to be unforgettable to someone who had never really seen me. The next morning, I texted Dad thanking him for inviting me to his party. He replied 8 hours later asking if I'd had fun. I didn't answer. Instead, I deleted all the photos of him from my phone. I cleared my schedule of activities I'd only done to please him. I stopped checking my phone constantly for texts that never came. 3 weeks passed before he noticed something had changed. He called on a Tuesday night, asking why I hadn't been coming over on weekends. I told him I'd been busy. When he asked with what, I simply mentioned school, friends, and my own life. He asked if I was mad about something, irritation evident in his voice. I told him I wasn't mad, just that I'd finally realized something important. When he asked what that was, I didn't hold back. That I'm not just the kid that lives here. I'm Ariella, and if you don't know that by now, you never will. I hung up before he could respond. He didn't call back. 6 months have passed. Sometimes Dad texts, asking if I want to get lunch or come over for a weekend. Last week, I found the scrapbook in my closet. He'd left it at Mom's house, claiming he didn't have space for it. I opened it to the last page, where I'd written a letter telling him how much I hoped our relationship would improve. Reading those words felt like hearing from a stranger, a hopeful girl who still believed she could earn her father's attention if she just tried hard enough. I closed the book and put it back in the closet. That girl is gone now.